For today's beginner's guide for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, we look at what I believe is possibly the most broken character in the game in regards to a single skill they have and how powerful that skill actually is. But if you're looking to farm and farm for long periods of times to get your nice double A ISOs, then it's not a bad thing at all. So the character in question is Miss Marvel, also known as Kamala Khan. In the video then, we'll start off with a quick overview and we'll have a look at her stats. We'll then check out her abilities. Next up, we'll have a look at the team bonuses. Following on from that, we'll check out the synergy attacks available. We then have the build options and the best ISO 8 to use on her. Alternative costumes are next, and then finishing up, we'll just have a quick summary. So let's jump in here and we'll start off with the overview. Out of all the characters I've covered so far for beginners guides, I would say that by far Miss Marvel is the most simple, one of the most powerful, and probably one of the most boring heroes to actually play. She's incredibly efficient if you want to actually farm with her, but she's not a character I would actually use for anything outside of just mindlessly farming rainbow ISOs while watching Netflix on a second screen. That's not to say that if you're a fan, I'm sure you won't be able to find enjoyment out of getting her, but for me she's just the farming character when I want to go partially AFK and actually play at the same time. But if we look at her abilities, they've all got the melee tags. That's really nice when it comes to gearing and pushing out extra damage on her. She doesn't have any specific hero traits. Her stats are pretty average, but most characters are if their name's not Thanos or Hulk. So if we look at the strength, that's at a B, so that's nice. That does affect her melee attacks. Vitality's a D, so it can be a little bit squishy. Mastery's a C, but that's not relevant to her. Resilience is a C, durability is a B, and then finally energy is a B. And energy is something you need to take into account when building her, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. Now let's check out her abilities. The first ability we look at here is Embiggen. Now you actually do a fair amount of damage with this, and it's a small AoE area as well, so it is a nice skill, but like the majority of her abilities, it's just the fact that her final one is so powerful, it makes all the other ones look a little bit weaker. But if you want to run her with some variety in her build, then you can certainly get away with still using this one. This particular skill then really did surprise me a fair bit, 'cause generally when I've been running Miss Marvel, I've just been using her final ability and mashing the A button while watching something on a second screen. But in the actual process of doing this beginner's guide where I test out all the abilities, this one shocked me how effective it is. So it's sweet combo attack. Damage is down at an F and staggers an F, but if you actually use it on an enemy, and you can see it on screen at the moment, use it on elites and bosses and it absolutely melts their health bar like you wouldn't believe. I think it's one of the most effective skills in the game for doing single target damage on bosses. So you'll use the final ability for actual farming, but if it comes to downing a boss and they're stunned or staggered, or if you even want to do damage before that point, then you want to mash in this ability and you'll get great results with it. The next ability we have here is Super Face Kick. This is probably the one I use the least often on or out of them. So this particular one, the stagger rating is up at A on it, but I find that sweet combo attack and giant foot spinny thing, what name that is, are just as effective at actually pulling down the stagger gauge. And with this one, when you leap forward, sometimes you're moving away from an enemy and then you have to pull back to actually get in range and attack them again. So this is ability, as mentioned, I really don't use it often at all. Final ability we have here is Giant Foot Spinny Thing. So this allows you to run the spin to win build, the most efficient and laziest farming build in the game. So you'll simply hold down the button, you'll take out minions, you'll destroy bosses, and because you can direct yourself where you're moving with this, if they drop any of the blue energy orbs, then you can pick them up so you can actually keep spinning. So it really is pretty amazing. Now with this, if you pair her up with Wasp, you can get a ricochet synergy attack, and that's possibly one of the most powerful synergy attacks in the game. So when it comes to the abilities to use on her, then you can get away with just spamming this, but it is pretty boring. So I would say when you get bosses and so on, throw in the sweet combo attack as well for a bit of variety, and you will still absolutely destroy them. So that's all the abilities anyway. Let's now have a look at her team bonuses. When we look at the team bonuses here, it's a new format we're using, but if you prefer the old one which came from the spreadsheet, there's a link to that in the description below. So if we look at the team bonuses here and we see where there's any overlapping characters, it's 4 teams she's part of. It's Generations, Heavy Hitters, Big Brains, and also Women of Marvel. Doesn't have a great amount of overlap here. The highest is actually only 2, so that's Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, and also Hulk. So that's it really. So in no way should you feel forced to run with a particular team in order to get high team bonuses, because you're not going to get them really that high with a runner with a team that maybe you're wanting to level up and you can use her to farm and get experience by using the spin to win build. But that's the team bonuses. Let's have a look at the synergies now. When it comes to synergy attacks, without a doubt the most effective one is the one you can actually see on the screen at the moment. It's Wasp and Miss Marvel. This one just absolutely shreds everything. Now despite that, if you want to have a bit of variety, run different characters and do different synergy attacks, there are still options available. So synergy trait wise, she's got Slam, Barrage, Charge and Area Assault. They generate a lot of attacks. The one that generates the Ricochet is Area Assault. Now the top 5 characters that she synergizes well with are Star-Lord, Crystal, Ghost Rider, Hawkeye and also Storm. The bottom 5 are Iron Fist, Captain America, Psylocke, Thanos and Scarlet Witch. Now if you want to run her in an infinity mode where you have to get a set amount of synergy damage, I would actually just avoid the top 5. Yes, you'll get the most amount of synergies out of them, but you won't get one as effective as the Wasp one. So Wasp and Scarlet Witch are your go-to if you need to get a set amount of synergy attack damage. Now the next section we'll look at will be the builds available. Build option wise, there really is only one setup you can go for with Miss Marvel. It has to be the spin to win build. Now she's exceptionally easy to actually gear for due to the fact that all of her skills have the melee tag, but you'll generally only be using 1 or 2 of them at most anyway. Now the best actually you would start off with would be to increase the damage of melee attacks by 19.2. You can also increase the crit chance of melee attacks by 11.1. If you don't have them when you're looking to do just your flat damage, you can increase the crit chance by 8%, increase damage done to enemies by 16.5, and then finally increase strength by 13.7. But the ones at the top are the ones you ultimately want to aim for. If you're looking to run a spin to win build where you will be spamming the move we see on screen at the moment, absolutely destroying enemies, then you want to get some form of energy regen in our kit as well. So you can go for increase the rate that EP restore orbs drop by 17.9%. I like this one myself because when they're dropping all over the place, then you can choose when you actually pick them up. What you can do as well is increase the actual energy pool as well, so it lasts longer and it gives you more time to get the orbs as they're dropping, so you can increase energy by 9.8%. But that's the options available, nice and simple there. Let's now have a look at the alternative costume. At the moment then, it's just the one alternative costume we have from Miss Marvel, and it's just the recolouring at the moment, so it does look pretty disappointing. Now it's nice and easy to unlock. You need to get 17 stars in the Psy Infinity Rift, so that really shouldn't be difficult at all. With the last few videos when we don't have a proper alternative costume, I've tried to Google one that I would actually like to see within the game, but I've checked and I can't actually see that Miss Marvel actually really has any alternative costumes. So if I have missed one that looks particularly nice and could be added to the game, then let me know in the comments below and I'll have a look and see if I can find it. But that's the alternative costume, nice and simple. Let's just finish up with a quick summary. Miss Marvel then is actually a fun character to play, and I think the fact that her final ability is so powerful almost takes away from her a little bit, because the temptation is always there if you want to be efficient to just simply spam that. But some of her other abilities are actually fun and really pretty effective as well. So I would say if you're wanting to just simply farm, then for sure go for the spin to win build, but if you're looking to actually play around with her, then experiment with some of her other skills and I'm sure you will have fun as well. So that's beginner's guide number 22 I believe now, so it's only another 16 to go at the moment, so we're definitely getting through them. Now as always, let me know in the comments below what one you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, take the time to hit the like and the share button, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.